안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of The Culture Wave. I'm Kwon So-ah in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-Entertainment with a special focus on opera and K-pop dance today, K-trends, K-everything. And we're going to do all of that with our Wednesday co-host, Walter Lee, here in the studio. Hello, Walter.
Happy Hump Day, Sola, and hello everyone back home who's watching today. I'm your co-host, Walter Lee, with all the K-entertainment issues, so stick around for that.
And we're also joined by Eun-woo, our Arirang News Features reporter. Welcome, Eun-woo.
Hello, Eun-woo.
Thank you. Hello, Soa. Hello, Walter. Hello, everyone. I'm Arirang's News Features reporter, Eun-woo.
So, Eun-woo, I heard that you recently went to the press conference of a new opera, which is The Rising World Spirit of Water, or Mure Jeongnyong in Korean. So, Eun-woo, what happens when a Korean princess, a mystical water spirit, and a visionary artisan meet on the stage, on the opera stage?
Well, doesn't it sound interesting?
It does.
Well, this English production is Seoul Arts Center's first ever original opera, and it's definitely aiming to captivate the Korean and the global audience. And it's set to make its world premiere here in South Korea on May 25th, which is very soon. So let's all take a closer look.
Something new is coming to the Seoul Arts Center in South Korea. This May, SAC will debut its first ever original opera, The Rising World Spirit of Water. Blending traditional Korean themes with a modern twist, the English language production marks a major milestone created entirely in-house from story to music. Blending Eastern and Western cultures, the opera tells the story of a princess captivated by a water spirit and a female artisan who builds a water clock to save a kingdom plagued by constant water disasters. The cast features internationally acclaimed opera singers, including South Korean soprano Hwang Soo-mi as the princess and mezzo-soprano Kim Jung-mi as the artisan.
I would say that the work portrays a human being, regardless of gender, who engages with nature, particularly through the element we call water. It explores the relationship between humanity and nature.
The element of water is expressed in many ways throughout the music. The opera's composer, Australian Mary Finster, explains that while you might hear it through electroacoustic sounds or a special instrument called a waterphone, the feeling of water mostly comes through the orchestra's instrumentation and the flowing ornamentation in the vocal lines. The show will have its world premiere at the Seoul Arts Center's Opera House on May 25th, followed by performances on May 29th and 31st. The creative team boasts international talent, including conductor Stephen Osgood, praised for his work at the Metropolitan Opera in New York, leading the Korean National Symphony Orchestra.
It's our window into the imagination of the composer and the librettist. I get pages, hundreds of pages of music. But what it is on the page is dots of ink. And what Mary has done is sit in her studio and imagine a sound world that nobody has heard yet.
Those pages, filled with countless notes, are a world the conductor steps into. He waters it and breathes life into it so the music can finally reach our ears. Now it's the audience's turn to step into that imagined world and fully experience an opera like a powerful fairy tale, one that flows with a message we can all feel.
Well, Eun-woo, it does sound like a fairy tale, but with a deeper message, especially when you mention the part that the kingdom in the opera is affected by water disasters. It sounds quite serious. So could you dive a little deeper into this message?
Yes, definitely. So the opera integrates some elements of Korean culture, though the production team approached this with very much care, keeping in mind that it's not their own culture. And through their research, they discovered Korea's rich mythology, including how closely attached ghosts and the symbolic power of water are to Korean culture. So that led them to settling on Water Ghost, but they said rather than representing one tradition, they focused on building a universal story, one that explores humanity's connection with nature and our shared responsibility to protect it.
And it really does sound like a remarkable production and also a bold new chapter for Korea's opera world.
Yes, it does indeed. And creating an original opera from scratch is no small feat, of course, especially when everything from the story is built entirely in-house. Are there any plans to take this sort of international audiences as well?
Yes, global expansion is very much part of the plan. And so far, the representatives from international venues, including Taiwan's National Taichung Theater, the Sydney Opera House, and Tokyo's New National Theater, are expected to attend the premiere. And of those, discussions with the Taiwan have already made some notable progress. And the team are aiming for 2027 to open the show in the global stage.
It's really exciting to hear that these international venues are already showing their interest, and it also shows how big the potential is for K-operas. I mean, we already have K-musicals out there, so I'm really excited to see K-operas also being recognized abroad. Well, thank you very much, Ini, for sharing your story today with us.
Thank you, Ini.
Thank you.
And now time for our daily dose of K-Enter News with Walter Lee. Walter, we're going to start off with news about IU.
Yes, indeed. Superstar IU has announced her return to her main profession, because she has so many, and that is music. Now, on Monday, IU's agency, Idam Entertainment, stated IU is preparing to make a comeback with a new album aimed for release in May, which is kind of strange because it's already May and it's already halfway through May, so that's very close. But that's not the only surprise, as the agency went on to say that Cha Eun-woo will be making a special cameo appearance in the music video for her new song. Now, the two previously worked together on a jewelry brand photo shoot, which sparked a connection between them. So this upcoming album will be IU's first released in about a year and 3 months following her 6th mini album, The Winning, which came out in February last year. Now, IU recently received much praise for her role, and we've talked about it many times on this show in the Netflix series When Life Gives You Tangerines.
Of course. So as a fan, I can't wait to hear her lovely voice with her new music, and I'm also very excited about that music video featuring Cha Eun-woo.
Yes.
But let's move over to other K-pop news that you have. What is it?
Yes, so dates for NCT Dream's 4th tour in 2025 have been officially announced. Now, on Tuesday, a tour poster was unveiled through NCT Dream's official social media channels, revealing when you can see the boys next for their The Dream Show 4 Dream the Future tour. Now, the group will kick off their tour with 3 concerts from July 10th to July 12th at Seoul's Goljok Sky Dome in Seoul. The tour will then travel to 7 cities, including Bangkok, Hong Kong, Jakarta, Singapore, Taipei, and Kuala Lumpur. Now, last year, NCT Dream successfully completed their 3rd world tour, the Dream Show 3, which spanned 37 shows in 25 cities across North America, Europe, and also Asia. The group is also set to return this July with a brand new full-length album.
All right, and last but not least, you're going to talk about a movie that I have been recommending a lot to you.
Yes.
Behind the program,
yes.
Off air, but what is it?
We've also been talking about it a lot, obviously,
have,
as well. So Hwang Byung-guk's crime thriller Yadang the Snitch has actually overtaken Bong Joon-ho's Hollywood production Mickey 17 to become the highest grossing film of the year domestically. Now, not only that, on Monday, Yadang became the first R-rated Korean film, or film rated for adults only, to surpass 3 million viewers since The Gangster, The Cop, and The Devil in 2019. This is post-pandemic, right? So, pre-pandemic, sorry. On Tuesday, distributor Plus M Entertainment reported that Yadang had drawn approximately 3.015 million viewers in total. This figure edges past Mickey 17's final audience count of around 3.013 million, which had previously held the top spot. Now, this is obviously a great accomplishment for Yadang, which has held its lead despite competition from major titles that have come out this year, including Minecraft the movie, The Thunderbolts, and Holy Night Demon Hunters.
What an achievement. So,
Indeed.
well, thank you very much, Walter, for those K-Enter updates, and stick around.
Will do.
And now let's move over to our AI anchor, Ari, for more culture news. Ari?
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. The Cannes Film Festival opened on Tuesday in the iconic southern French city. 21 films have been invited to compete for the prestigious Palme d'Or this year. Winners will be announced during the award ceremony at the festival's closing event on May 24th. No Korean feature films were invited for the official selection this year, for the first time since 2013. But director Jung Yoo-mi's animated short, Glasses, was selected for the Critics' Week short film competition, while Ha Ga-young's First Summer will be shown in the Lassen F student selection. Choi of SSG has etched his name into KBO League history as the first player to hit 500 career home runs. The veteran slugger reached the milestone on Tuesday with a 2-run shot in the bottom of the 6th inning during a home game against NC at SSG Landers Field in Incheon. A one-club player, Choi was selected as the number 1 overall pick by then SK, now SSG, in the 2005 draft, and has spent his entire 20-season career with the franchise. His decorated career includes 19 consecutive seasons with double-digit home runs, 3 home run titles, and a Korean Series championship. Korea University is hosting a special exhibition marking its 120th anniversary, showcasing rare artifacts collected by the school's museum and libraries over the decades. The exhibition features 120 items, including national treasures, iconic paintings by renowned Joseon-era artists, and rare documents with great historical significance. Also on display is KARV-1, Korea's first autonomous vehicle, developed and successfully test-driven by Professor Han Min-ho in the 1990s. The exhibition runs through December 20th at Korea University Museum. That's all from me. Stay tuned to the Culture Wave.
The Hallyu craze is seeing significant growth across Europe, including Northern Europe, fueled by the popularity in K-pop, K-dramas, and other K-culture content. Even a K-pop cover singing and dancing competition is taking place in Sweden's capital, Stockholm, the K-pop Nordics Festival, bringing together competitors from Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Norway, and Iceland. The K-Correspondents we connect with today are Vilma Andersson and Julia West, members of a team called R-Chaos that have made it through the preliminary round and are getting ready for the main competition. Hello to both of you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So first off, please introduce yourself and your team to the Culture Wave viewers and how you feel about being in the main competition for the 2025 K-pop Nordics Festival. So let's start with Vilma.
Yes, hi, my name is Vilma Andersson and I am 24 years old and a member of the group R-Chaos. We are based in Umeå in northern Sweden.
All right, and Julia, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Julia. I'm 29 years old and I'm also a member of R-Chaos here in Umeå, northern Sweden.
And how many members do you have in your team?
We currently have 9 active members.
All right, so you are 2 members of the 9-member K-pop cover dance team. Very interesting.
Excellent. And Vilma, you could probably answer this question for me. What made you participate in this contest?
Yeah, so we have been participating in this contest for many years now, even back in the days when it was K-pop World Festival. So then when it turned into K-pop Nordics, we also applied, and the first time we participated, we actually placed in first. But we have always really liked the competition in itself, and us as a group, we usually focus on one competition each year, since we live so far away from the capital, where everything like happens. So we really have felt very welcome in this competition, the judge response and the feedback that we get, and it just, it drives us to become better.
So let's focus now on this year's competition. What was your strategy in the preliminaries? Which songs did you perform to and why? And if you could you also show us a few moves on the spot maybe?
Yeah, sure. So this year we are competing with the song Say My Name by ATEEZ. Usually when our strategy for the competition is usually to go for newer released songs. So for example, if we compete in 2024, we look for a song that was released in 2023. However, we do think it's more important to focus on the vibe of the song to make sure that it fits us as a group. And for this year, we decided that we vibed more with the Say My Name by ATEEZ, also because it's a song that we have liked since release, and we are like the entirety of our group is are very big fans of ATEEZ as a group. So yeah.
Yes.
All right, could we see maybe a few gestures of the moves? Just a quick preview?
Yeah, sure. I think the most iconic one is the riding the car move.
Oh,
It's very
okay.
iconic.
Okay, we see that vibe there.
We are very
Nice.
familiar here with ATEEZ. We do report on them quite often actually in our segment, but as dancers, what are some of the characteristics of Korean K-pop dance that you find unique, and what are the biggest differences between, let's say, K-pop dance and, let's say, other dance genres?
It's a very interesting question, very, very difficult to answer, but I think that some of the characteristics are that I believe that K-pop dance focus a lot on synchronization, to make sure that the group performs as a unit and not as individuals. Also, I think something that is very unique for K-pop is that all of the bigger title tracks, almost all, get their own dance. So that in itself gets people more involved if they want to learn. If they like a song, they can learn the dance of the song, and that dance in itself can, become viral on social media, etc. I also feel like K-pop dance has a mix of a lot of different genres in one choreography. So it can be a variety of different genres in one choreography. And I think also the whole community of it, like learning K-pop dances and posting and talking to people online and all of that, it gives people a sense of community.
Right, and the characteristics that you just mentioned, those were very visible in your performances, I have to say. I was very impressed by last year's performance when you danced to ATEEZ 미친 봄 or Crazy Form. I could really see that synchronization in your group, and at the same time, you could also see each of your members' characteristics. So that is really amazing. And that brings us to the next question. We're really curious how your interest in K-pop actually began. So let's start with Julia. How did your interest in K-pop begin, and also who are your favorite K-pop artists?
My interest actually began back in 2011, and I was just looking at like YouTube videos, and I was recommended Lucifer by SHINee, and I was really impressed with the dance, and I really enjoyed the song. So that made me like sort of go down a rabbit hole. And back then, I was kind of the only one listening to K-pop. So when there was an ad at my school board, like anyone wants to dance K-pop, I just jumped on the opportunity and started dancing. So yeah, and my favorite groups are ATEEZ, but also like Purple Kiss. I enjoy Purple Kiss music a lot.
Okay, and Vilma, what about you? How did K-pop interest start with you, and who are your favorite ones?
For me, my interest started in probably 2017 or something. I was going to a music school in high school, and there was a group there of girls who, in their like spare time, used to dance to K-pop, and that kind of piqued my interest, and I was like, "Whoa, what is this? This seems pretty cool." And then I started, researching K-pop and looking up mostly like BTS in the beginning, and obviously Blackpink. And now my favorite groups are probably also ATs, obviously. I also really like Stray Kids and Hypen. Yeah.
So I wonder, is ATEEZ like a big group in Sweden right now? Or is it a coincidence that both of you like ATEEZ so much?
I
Vilma
think
or
80s
Julia?
is. Oh, yeah. I think 80s is a big group, but the biggest I would say is actually Stray Kids.
Yes, I'm very familiar that Stray Kids does have a very big following in Europe at the moment, and well, the popularity of K-pop and Hallyu in general, I guess, is on the rise in Sweden and other Nordic countries. How big is it really from, let's say, your perspective?
It is really big, and I'm going to expose my age here. And since I've been listening to it for such a long time, I think I've seen the rise. And the biggest ways to see it is that, clothing stores play Korean music. You can hear Le Seraphim when you go out. And there's a lot more people listening to it casually. Whereas in the beginning, when I started, it was really like, if you were listening to K-pop, you would only listen to K-pop. But now it's more like, oh, I listen to some Le Seraphim, or I listen to some Hypen, something like that. It is really, really big. We also have Comic-Con here in Sweden, and it started with just once a year with just like comics and things like that, but now it's grown so big that we have Comic-Con twice a year, and it has its own K-pop like area with workshops and performances and quizzes and like trading cards, and it's really, really big.
Very impressive. Now, Julia, when is your big stage gonna be? Let us know about your competition or the final event.
We're on stage on June 7th, which is, I think we're all very excited, but also very nervous about this. But I think, we'll just go up on stage and do our best, as we always do. I think a strength we have on stage is that all of us are kind of silly, and a big, like, what we remind each other is like, oh, it's okay to be ugly, because if you have to make such big expressions on stage. So if you think you look ugly, you look fine on stage. So, yeah.
All right. Now, last but not least, very briefly, any words of encouragement to your team? Vilma, you first, please.
Okay. I would say keep going. You're doing great. And remember to just have fun.
And Julia, would you like to add anything to that?
We're going to do great. And remember, as Vilma said, it's just about having fun. We're going to have such a great time on stage.
Well, thank you very much, Julia and Vilma. We really wish you and your other team members from our Chaos good luck in the contest, and we just hope you continue to have lots of fun with K-pop.
Fighting!
Fighting!
Thank you.
And thank you, Walter, as always. We're going to see you back next week. Until then, fighting!
Fighting!
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave, and please join us again tomorrow on Thursday at 2 p.m. Korea time, and maybe one day here in Korea.